On today's edition of Forever Home, we're going to be solving a drainage problem for a customer. Come on up the hill. Let's show you what's going on. So we're out here in Cochranville, Pennsylvania today. We've got a customer had a problem with water coming into this end of the basement of their house. And as we look at where the downspouts are set up, we've got over half the volume on the roof. It's coming down right here. They have some underground buried pipe, but those have gotten crushed over the years and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we've got some equipment out here and we're going to be taking the sod cutter. We're going to cut a path through, remove some of the sod, get that out of the way, put some plywood down to collect the dirt, come through with the trencher, give ourselves a trench, bury some 4-inch pipe, get that piped all the way out here to where we're going to put a drywall in and have some daylight, and you get to follow along with the journey. So here we go. Welcome to this edition of Forever Home. So our trench is dug. We've got our pipe. We're starting to lay our pipe in here. We had not dug the pit here at the end yet, but we need to steal some of our plywood to use for the other trench. So we're going to start laying this pipe. Get up here at the top end of things. We have an elbow and then an extension and then one of these downspout filters, which I'll show you a little bit later. And what that does is allow any leaves that come down the downspout to have a chance to exit before they get into your underground piping system. And then we're protecting it with what's called a valve cover for sprinkler irrigation systems. It's just an inexpensive way to keep your weed whacker from destroying the more fragile pieces of plastic here and also help keep the sun's ultraviolet rays off of it. So next step, we're going to stand on this pipe and we're going to start backfilling it. So we've got our pipe partially laid. Our team is working on putting the sod back in place. We've already backfilled part of the trench. We've got what's left of the pipe sticking up out of the ground and we are preparing to dig a 16-inch hole, 18-inch hole for the drywell. We'll show you that process in a little bit. But we'll take you up and show you the sod going back in. So here's our pipe. Here's the area where we backfilled, and you can see where we had the plywood down to catch our dirt overspill from the trencher. You know, that lawn looks almost like we were never here, which is sort of the goal. And then once we've got everything backfilled, German and Tracy are working on setting the sod back in here. And once that's finished, we'll sprinkle a little grass seed over the top and it'll look like we were never here. So we'll show you this part. We've got our protector sleeve down here to help protect that from the weed whacker, and a drain port that any leaves that come down the downspout can get kicked out and won't clog up the system. So that's where we're at. We're going to fire up the machine and punch our first hole. Here we go. So Tracy is working to diligently prep each one of our drain boxes with 5 1-inch holes in the bottom of them so that when they fill with water, that has the opportunity to go down in the stones. And if for whatever reason the rains come faster than the dry wells can handle it, then it will bubble back out the surface through the top of that drain and come out the top and run across the lawn and down the swale between the yards. So that's how we're going to make sure that all the water is handled regardless of how much volume we get. Next step over here is we have installed the second downspout adapter, and we've got our pipe in and we're about to lay that into trench number 2, and we've got our hole punched at the far end. Now we just got to get this laid and backfilled, and then we're going to keep rocking and rolling, and then on to holes 3, 4, 5, and 6. So trench number 2 has been backfilled and tamped down. German and Tracy are getting ready to set the sod, just kind of get the final grade down together. Last thing we'll do is I'll pull that filter fabric back out of the cover and clean that drain out, but that's just keeping it right in the top. Nothing's able to get down into the bucket. And we did lay one more layer of filter fabric over the top of that stone before we set the drain box on top of it. So this trench, getting ready to get the sod put back on top, and then we can move on to the rest of the holes where we're really just going to find the end of the existing downspouts and dig some drain boxes for them. So phase one over here is complete. We'll show you the very first hole that we finished, and I'll take you over and show you hole number 2. So we've got our drain pipe comes in from this side, and we've got those 5 drain holes there in the bottom. That's going to allow any water that comes into that box to drain down into that dry well that we put in. And then if for whatever reason, the more water comes down, the ground can dissipate quick enough, we have this beautiful filtration cover that helps catch any debris that comes across the surface to keep it from going in. And this cover that goes on the top, and that's going to keep the rocks and things out, any dirt that would overflow and get in there. But this also works in reverse, that if we have too much water flow come down off the roof, come down through the system more than this can handle in a timely manner, it just bubbles out the top and runs across the surface. And we're 50 feet from the foundation of the house, so there's no chance, and definitely downhill, there's no chance of this water getting backed up into the basement. So this is hole number 1. We'll give you a walk tour of that. So this is the second trench that we dug and got set up, and of course downhill from the house as well. We're about 45 feet from where that downspout comes in. And again, any water that bubbles up here, there's no chance of it getting to the foundation. It's absolutely going to come and run down the rest of this hill and out towards the street. So we've moved this water away from the foundation, and we'll take you up this hill here. And you can see that because of what we do with the plywood and the plastic and the sod cutting, that it almost doesn't even look like we were here. We'll throw a little grass seed on just for good measure. But in a couple days, a week or two, this will be absolutely gorgeous looking. You'll never know that we were here. And then right through the garden area, you can now see this leaf diverter, that any leaves that come down the downspout can get caught on this and cleaned out from time to time. And then this basket here is just to keep your weed whacker from damaging the softer plastic that's going on right here. We got one of those there, and we've also got one of those here at the top of drain pipe number 1. So this is set up and back together. We'll take you over and show you what we found on the other projects. So the second part of this project is locating where the buried downspouts come out into the yard. So we've got a pressure washer set up with a special auger tip on the end of it, and we've run that down into the downspout in the ground. We've got increments on here that show us how many feet in that we are. And we've been running that for a couple minutes now, and we're just kind of waiting for water to bubble up. And what do you know is happening right here at the very end of the garden? But we had a whole bunch of water and just start coming through. And this is the second hole we've worked on. We've already started that process over here on this side, which helped us to uncover the end of this pipe. And there's a crack in it, and so it was bubbling up right there. And then we dug a little further, and we found the end of it. So it takes a little bit of doing to locate the end of it, and this equipment will do, basic, just below the surface level clogs. If you get something much deeper, then we'll got to bring in a company that specializes in that. But this is enough for us to expose the ends that we should be able to dig down and put some drain boxes in, just like we were doing on the other side. So now that we know where the water's bubbling up on this end of things, I'm gonna take my shovel, start poking around and see what we can find. So we found the end, and the entire last 6 inches is completely plugged. No way anything's getting through that. The hog wouldn't even go through it. I am finding some pea gravel down in the shovelfuls that we're pulling out. So somebody had attempted a drain system here, but they didn't put any filter fabric around, as far as I can tell, to keep the dirt from infiltrating it. And there's no drain box to allow any overflow out to the surface in case the underground area gets compromised. So we're gonna add some stuff to it and make it better. So this was the first of the holes in the back side of the house that we had to source from the downspout, which I haven't put back up yet, that goes right there. That goes down through the deck, and we found the end of the pipe out here. So what we've done is the same as we've done on the others. We wound up actually cutting the pipe to the last good spot in it back in here. And once that cut was made, we put an extension on, brought it out, put our 4-foot drywall in, and then our drain basket, of course. This ground was a lot soupier and much more clayey soil, so it was a little bit more difficult to work with. We'll have to seed this to clean that up a little bit. And then the second hole that we worked on here in the back, same situation. This is the one that had the 6-inch of completely plugged end. Again, we cut that back about 2 or 3 feet. We put a union on, extended it out, and we've got this in the ground. So now any water that comes off of this downspout here is going to be piped pretty far away from the foundation and no chance of it getting into the crawl space of the basement area underneath the living room area. So this is number 2, and then we'll take you out front and show you what we're working on in 3 and 4. So here we are at the corner of the driveway, and you can see hole number 3 here going down to the driveway. And we're pretty sure it ran under the sidewalk, but we weren't really sure where it came out. And so this one is set up a little bit differently. They did put some large size rock in here, but then they put this nose on, and I can see organic like leaf material down in here. So that any junk that came down the downspout actually got caught inside of this filter and clogged it up, which is why they were having problems. And to find this, I actually wasn't able to get the end to blow water out, but I was able to use it as a measuring stick for where it got stuck. Pulled that distance from here, put a shovel in the ground, and we found some rocks. They did try to do some sort of a drywall system, but it wasn't effective. So what we're gonna do is we're going to remove this cap, dig this out. We're gonna put our drywall in here, and we'll put a little piece of extension pipe on just so that we're not digging right up against that piece of pipe. And that'll fix this one, and I'll take you over and show you hole number 4. This is the one where we had that beautiful spray fountain come out, and it actually popped out because the way the pipe comes is pretty near the surface, and then it angled down with this piece of black corrugated, and I don't know where that goes or where it ends up, but the end of it here is completely filled with dirt. There's no way any water's getting past that, and I'm guessing this was just so close to the surface that the lawnmower or whatever may have crushed it, allowed dirt to start getting in, and then it just filled and backed up. So maybe this goes to a drywall down there somewhere, but obviously it's not working. So same situation here. I'm not gonna bother trying to find the end of that black pipe. We're gonna get a Sawzall. We're gonna cut this off to somewhere that's good. We're gonna put our drywall right here, and we're low enough pitch down. We're down almost 1.5 feet from the grade at the house at this point. So I think this is a perfect spot for that drain box, and then water that drains at the top of it will run right down this beautiful hill down into the front yard, and plenty of space for it to sort of get absorbed into the soil. So that's our project for this afternoon, is to get holes 3 and 4 taken care of and wrap this up and call it done. So we're gonna get to work. Here we go. Part of the trick for how we keep the lawns looking so nice when we're done is the use of the plywood sheathing, and we're just throwing down these 2 foot by 8 foot sheets. Tracy's getting those laid out for us now to keep the dirt from getting into the grass, first of all, and second of all, to help protect the lawn from the treads on the machine as we're making the tight turns. It's not too bad when you're making long swooping turns, but if you're sitting here making tight turns as we are when we're trying to dump the dirt off of the auger bit and we need some place to dump it, we don't want to tear up the lawn we're doing. So putting the plywood down really helps preserve your lawn. It's just one more way that we're able to say that you'll be proud to say it's not just done, it was coat built. So we've got this hole dug, and you can see they did some sort of, I don't know, French drain. They threw some stone underneath that pipe, although if there's no holes in the pipe, I'm not sure what the point of that is. Maybe there's holes in the bottom. We've got our hole dug all the way down to the bottom. Tracy's going to drop in our filter fabric, and this is going to keep the dirt from surrounding the pit from getting down into our stone bed that is going to be the drywell. And once we get this situated, we will put some shovels and different things in there to help hold it at bay, and then we're going to fill it with a whole bunch of 3/4 stone, and then work on setting our drain box on top of that. So I'm gonna help Tracy get this all where it needs to be situated, and then we'll show you the next step. All right, next thing Tracy's gonna do is give a little tap on these rings here and just make sure that those are locked in all the way, both on the inlet side and on the plug side. And we wanna make sure that that's rotated and locked into place where they're not gonna slip open or cause a problem later. And she's going to drop in the baffle on the top. Grab our filter fabric to put over that baffle just as a temporary stopgap measure to make sure no dirt falls into this while we are backfilling, and the grate on top to lock that in place. We'll set that down there in the hole. And then we'll put our union into the white pipe. We're gonna take this short piece of corrugated and put it on that next to it. Once that's all wedged in place, we'll fill the backside first, holding the basket tight against these pipes over here, and then we can start backfilling. If we get this wrong, everything else is for naught. We've got our filter fabric here. And if you just left this filter fabric against the wall and you threw dirt right on top of those rocks, you've totally negated everything that you just tried to do. So what we want to do, we have enough extra sticking up here on this one. We showed you other ones where we laid an extra piece across the top. But on this one, we have enough extra. We're going to fold it down, lap it against the box, and then Tracy's going to throw that shovel right on top of it. And that's going to help hold that in. Now any water has to go through the filter fabric, and that prevents the dirt from getting down into our rock base, which is the drywell. So she's going to throw another one there in the back and then on the side here. And then we will start backfilling, and we'll hit this with the tamping bar to lock it in. But we want to make sure that we've got this filter fabric all the way around, making sure that no dirt has the opportunity to get down into that stone base. Or like I said, everything we just did is for naught. It's going to fill up, it's going to clog, and in 4 or 5 years it won't be doing its job anymore. So we want to make sure that it's built to last. It's not just done, it's coat built. That's part of the process, is making sure that you get that filter fabric in the correct position. So we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll fold that down and we'll put dirt on top of it. So this one's now complete. Tracy's got the sod put back in place, and we'll do some final adjusting here, and then we're going to pull this filter fabric out from inside the grate, and we'll slide that piece of pipe back down there, and this guy will be 100%. And any water that overflows that drain pit is going to come out the top and down the hill. Down the hill. So we are now prepped for our final excavation, our final hole. We've got our plywood set up. That's going to give something for our tracks to run on for the machine so we don't turf up the lawn. I got a position down here at the bottom for me to dump the dirt onto that comes off of the auger head. I'm going to run down to the truck, grab a Sawzall, and we're going to cut this pipe off clean so we got a good spot. I've already removed the piece of black pipe that was completely filled with dirt and debris. I mean, there's just no way anything's getting through that. It's heavy as everything. So we've got that ready to go. So this is your before picture, and we're gonna punch a hole. We've got our stone brought up and ready to go. And then as the dirt comes out, we'll wind up putting it back here in this bucket to take down and throw into the dump trailer down by the street. So, final hole, here we go. Last hole put together, and dirt shoveled up. We got our plywood all finished here, and of course next step is grab that sod and bring it down, put it in the hole, and that's going to wrap this project up. And on that note, this project is now complete. We've got all 6 drain boxes in with their dry wells underneath. We've put all the sod back. We've spread a little extra seed around, and we're going to give the customer some instructions on watering for that. And you can barely tell that we were here now, but a matter of 2 or 3 weeks and that grass seed props in, you'll never know that we were here. It's not just done. It was coat built. We got a little bit of equipment to load back up, but if we can help solve a problem for you, give us our team a call. We produce these videos so that you understand what goes into these types of projects. If you're hiring a contractor for a drainage project like this at your house, now you know some of the questions you want to ask. Ask them about the filter fabric. Ask them how big those holes are going to be, diameter, depth. Make sure they've got plenty of capacity. Are they going to put a drain box in that it can overflow back onto the surface, or are they planning to rely on that underground system working forever? Just some of those things that you want to be thinking about as you're looking at, which direction the grade goes, how far from the foundation are they going to move that water for you? Is there anything up on your roof, gutter-wise? Do you have any gutters that are draining onto the roof stack that need to get hard pipe down into a lower gutter so they're not eating away your shingles? All those types of different things. That's why we create these videos. We want to help make sure that you have all the information that you need when you're hiring a contractor for work around your house. And of course, if you're in our area and you're looking to hire us, this is a way that we can show you how it's done and how we make sure that it's done right and that it's coat built. There's nothing that we don't do. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, anything on the interior of your home, with your finished basements, kitchen renovations, bathroom remodels, plumbing, electrical, drywall, spackle, paint. Build you a custom dream home, in addition, a garage. There's literally nothing our team doesn't do. 𝗂𝘁 Construction and Renovation is a Pennsylvania home improvement contractor, number 88078, licensed in Newcastle County, Delaware 10490. Take a picture of what's bothering you. Send it to us right here on our Facebook page. Click that contact us button there at the top. Send that message to our team with your contact details, and we'll be happy to start working on a virtual estimate for you for what it is that you have going on at your house. Make sure you like this video, share it with some friends. If you're watching on YouTube, click that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and the notifications bell, so you get updated on all of our upcoming videos that'll help educate you on what goes on into the repairs that need to go on around your house, so that you're educated when you go to talk to a contractor about those various different things that you want to have done on your forever home. This is Drew in beautiful Cochranville, Pennsylvania. If we can solve a problem for you, give our team a call. We have a dedicated office staff standing by weekdays, 9:30 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon at 484-748-0008. Choose option 2 for 𝗂𝘁, your full service construction and renovation company, and extension 2 for new projects. Remember, we're finished with it. You'll be proud to say it's not just done, it was 𝗂𝘁 built. We'll catch you guys in the next edition of Forever Home. Bye for now.